Okay, so for today, we are going to discuss the annuity due. Okay, so this is also another type of annuity. So in the previous discussion, we talked about ordinary annuity. So today, we are going to discuss the annuity due. So what exactly is annuity due? Okay, so an annuity due is one where the payments are made at the beginning of each period. Okay, so how does it differ from ordinary annuity? So remember, sa ordinary annuity, the payment is made after na, at the end of each period. So sa annuity due, the payment is made at the beginning. So 'di ba sa ordinary annuity, nag-start ta when n is 1. Okay, sa annuity due, mag-start na ang payment when n is 0. Okay, so for example, mangutang ka karon, bayad din ka, ana good. So, ang ending niya, since nag-start naman ka when n is 0, ang ending sa annuity is when n minus 1. Okay, so kay gi-adjust man ang beginning sa payment when n is 0, so ang ending sa payment would be n minus 1. So for determining the present worth of an annuity due, so dalo na to sa present tanan annuity, how much is it worth? So present atong ginapangitaan na. Okay, so remember that the future worth of the money is equal to the present multiplied by 1 plus I raised to n. Diba, this is the major or general formula for the compounding. So, therefore, if we are to solve for P over F, so 1 over 1 plus I raised to n, or if isa ka na to ang exponent sa n, then that becomes 1 plus I raised to negative n. Then, if we set F as A, therefore, if we are to solve for P, in terms of A, annuity, so P is equal to A over 1 plus I raised to n, or equal to A times 1 plus I raised to negative n. So remember that the annuity due, the payment starts when n is 0. So ang n nato diri, instead na mag-substitute tag 1, okay, i-substitute nato 0. So mahimo na siyang ingon ani. 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. Basta, ang ending sa payment is n minus 1. Okay? Now, if we are to simplify, katong raised to 0, diba, kaning raised to 0, this is equivalent to 1. Any number raised to 0 is equal to 1. So therefore, the present worth is equal to A plus A multiplied 1 plus I raised to negative 1, and so on and so forth. Basta, ang ending, n minus 1. Okay? So, isa man atong napansin, this term, this is geometric sequence, where the ratio is 1 plus I raised to negative 1. Mo ni ilang common ratio. Actually, 1 plus I raised to negative 1 ilang ratio. Okay. And remember that the sum of the geometric sequence is ito, di ba? Sum of geometric sequence is equal to the first term multiplied by 1 minus the common ratio raised to n over 1 minus the common ratio. So, following the pattern, so follow na to ang pattern, mo na pag-substitute, and then, if we are to simplify, okay, so algebra lang na siya guys. Therefore, we will have this final formula. So, kani siya, this is from the geometric sequence. Okay, kani siya geometric sequence na siya. And then remember na abay atong plus. So atong geometric sequence plus A. Okay? So therefore the present worth of an annuity due, it's equal to the annuity plus A times 1 plus I raised to n minus 1 over 1 times 1 plus I raised to n minus 1. Okay, so ani lang ang annuity due. Mo ni ang derivation sa iyang formula. Asa man nagikan, nganong inana man pag-compute. So ato lang una-unaon na mag-add kag annuity plus the geometric sequence sa annuity. Maski dili nimo memorize ang formula, makasolve gihapon ka. Okay? So, if ang n alisdan nato na og mt and ang I alisdan nato nag r over m, so inana na iyahang equivalent na formula. Okay, galisdan lang ang I as R over M, galisdan lang ang N ug MT. Kanini sa mga problem na naay mga compounding periods greater than 1. For example, quarterly, sa may annually, mga inana. Okay, so how about the future worth of an annuity due? So again, remember that the future worth is equal to the present worth of the money times 1 plus I raised to n. So, kahit yung present worth lang ang i-memorize mo, multiply mo na lang ng 1 plus I raised to n. Okay? Ganun lang man yan. So, pwede na ni siya. Actually, pwede na ni siya. Gikan sa kanilang na imong gi-memorize. Pero if you want na mas okay siya, na arrangement, so ang yung equivalent is this one. F is equal to A times 1 plus I raised to n plus 1 minus 1 over I minus A. So, ang simplification ani na formula is kanilang siya. Okay, so wala na ako ipakita para magtipid ko sa slide. But anyway, ang importante lang man dira is ang derivation sa present worth. So if makuha na ang present worth, then you can just multiply it by 1 plus A raised to n. Okay. So ang I ato alang siyang gialisdan og R over M. Ang N, gialisdan lang nato og MT. So, wala din inaalisdan. So, dapat R over M ni siya. So, if you do have question, kindly open your mic and then speak. Okay, kasi hindi ko makita kung sino yung nag-open ng mic. You just have to speak para kabalo ko. But if you don't have anything to say, just close the microphone. Okay. Now, let's solve for examples. So, Kim promised to pay the money he borrowed from his friend, agreeing to pay 330 pesos at the beginning of each month. Okay, so here's the thing. You would know that the problem is annuity due when there is a keyword such as at the beginning. So when you see or when you hear the phrase rather at the beginning, so you have the idea now that this example must be solved using the annuity due. However, if it's at the end of the period, then it is ordinary annuity. So even if you do not see at the end, kahit sabihin lang na promise to pay, blah, 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 kung walang at the end, actually that's a default na ordinary annuity. Okay, that's a default na ordinary annuity kahit na walang at the end. Basta walay at the beginning. Kung wala nang at the end o wala nang at the beginning, ang default ana ordinary annuity. Okay? Pero pag annuity due, iingon jud na at the beginning. Okay? Kasi dili man default ang annuity due. Alright. So, he agrees to pay 330 pesos at the beginning of each month for 1 year at an effective interest rate of 2%. So, how much did he borrow? So, let's write the given. Okay, so nag-promise daw si Kim to pay to pay the money he borrowed from his friend. So he agrees to pay 330 pesos at the beginning of each month. So it means that the 330 pesos must be the annuity that he has to pay. Okay? And then the duration that he has to pay is 1 year. And it says here that at the beginning of each month. So it means to say that he has to pay every month. So therefore, the interest pala is compounded monthly. So M is 12. Now, the rate is 2%. So how much did he borrow? So if we are to draw the um, cash flow, so everything is um, brought at the beginning. So, dalaon na to sa present kasi pangutan naman, how much did he borrow? So, present ang ato ang pangitaon. Okay, so by substituting the formula, so what is the formula? So, the formula is E equal to A plus A times 1 plus I raised to n minus 1 over I times 1 plus I raised to 1 plus I raised to n minus 1. Okay, so let's solve when I is r over m. So that's 0.02 over 12. And then n is empty. So 12 times 1. Okay, kindly substitute. So, naman ko calculator diri. Kita na lang nato sa calculator. So we have 330 plus 330 1 plus well, n minus 1, 12. Then oops, syntax error.
6,619 po, ma'am.
Ha?
6,619.
So dapat i-calculate.
3,923.96, ma'am.
Okay, gimano-mano na lang ako calcio para nang kikpintuton. Sige daw. Ulitin natin dito kay lahi mag-answer. 330 and then plus na. And then 330 times 1 plus 0.02. Okay, then 12 raised to 12 minus 1 minus 1. Yun. And then 0.02 divide 12 times 1 plus 0.02 divide 12 raised to 12 minus 1. So the answer is 3923. Oops. Point, ila to?
91.
3923.96. Okay, so na siya ha. Using the formula. And then, na-upload na siya another way of solving the P. Okay, remember sa ato ang ordinary annuity, diba? This is actually the summation of A over 1 plus I raised to X. And then when X is 1, and then when N is X. Or kung unsa ang period diri. So, N na lang ito ibutang diri N. Okay, so, oops. Ganito sa ordinary annuity. Okay? How about sa annuity due? So, how are we going to apply this summation or Caltech para sa annuity due sa present worth? So, follow lang natin ito, di ba? Summation of annuity over still 1 plus I, pero asa man nag-end ang kuan, asa man nag-end ang annuity when n is n minus 1. Okay? So therefore, butang na to diri x minus 1. And then mag-start siya when x is 1 para kung when x is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, right? 0. Kaysa 0 man nag-start ang annuity due. And then mag-end siya when n minus 1. So therefore, ang n diri na ibutang is 12. Nganong 12? Kasi nga, ang imuhang sequence, n minus 1. So if i-substitute na to ang 12 diri, so mahuman siya 11. So therefore, ang counting diri 0, 1, 2, 3, up to 11. However, diri sa ordinary annuity, tanawa, x ang exponent diri. So pasabot, when x is 1, sa 1 siya magsugod. 2, 3, and so on and so forth, up until n. When n is x, so if 12 ang n, so therefore 12 mahuman. Okay? I hope na gets ninyo ang pasabot sa summation. Okay, so let's apply that sa to ang calculator. So summation of annuity divided by 1 plus I. So ang I nato is 0.02 divide 12 raised to x minus 1. And then when x is 1 and when n is 12. Sinaingon mo, ma'am, 1 man lagi na nagsugod niya, 12 na human. Tanawa po ang exponent diri, x minus 1 bayan na. So therefore, ang counting sa sequence 0 kay 1 minus 1, 0. And then mahuman siya when n minus 1, so 12 minus 1, 11. So actually, this is 0 to 11. Okay? So therefore, still the answer is 3923.96. Okay, so do you have any question? None? Okay, let's go. Let's proceed. So engineer Season borrows 100,000 at 10% effective annual interest. He must pay back the loan over 30 years with uniform monthly payments due on the first day of each month. So, wala pod giingon og at the beginning, pero naaman tay keyword na on the first day. So, wala ra gyapon na at the beginning. So, this example or this problem should be solved using the annuity due. So, the question is, what does engineer season pay each month? So, let's write the given first. So the given, it says here, engineer season borrows 100,000. So if nagutang siya 100,000 karon, so that must be the present, diba? The principal at 10% interest. So he must pay back the loan over 30 years. So the time here is 30. With uniform monthly payments. So it means to say 12 ang period, compounding period, due on the first day of each month. So what does engineer season pay each month? So it actually asks for the annuity. Okay, so solution na lang tani. So this is A plus, A times 1 plus I raised to n minus 1 over I 1 plus I raised to n minus 1. Okay, so substituting 100,000 equal to A. A is unknown plus A 1 plus, okay, the I here is 0.10 over 12 raised to n. N is 30 times 12 or 12 times 30 minus 1 over I na 0.10 over 12 multiply it by 1 plus 0.10 over 12 raised to 12 times 30 minus 1. Okay, so wapunta ni siya i-caltech no, but maghang ang calculator pag dako kayo ang n. So ang n ani becomes 12 times 30, so that's a very big number. So ayun na lang mo pag caltech ani kay mo lang gihapon dili na siya mo wingon na siya AC error kay dako kayo ang n. Anyway, just use the formula and then solve for A. Go. Sige daw, calculate daw. Pila man? Wala? Tama, 879? Chief solve lang.
$862.81 ra ako, ma'am.
826
Tama
ma'am.
po. Maupod sa kong calculator, pero ang answer sa libro kay 879. Mali guro ning libro, no? Tama man ang solution. Kaya man kung gi-round off, ang I, gihimo niyang ano ba, gikuha niya daan, 0.10/12. So, ano na lang niya, 0.0833. 0.0833. I-solve niya daan ang I. So, yan ang gi-substitute daan. So, I guess, nag-affect na siya sa answer. Okay, so, sige daw, i-try daw ng 0.0833. Oh, wait lang. N-1, no? Kailangan katag -1 diri, bantogra. Itanawa ang formula N-1. -1 pa na. -1. Sige daw. Kasi nano nadaraa ka ng closer to 879 na ang answer.
870.32 ma'am.
870?
Yes ma'am, 0.32.
0.32, sige. Try na ko ang kanang 0.00833.
870.3734, ma'am. Kung 0.08 ay 00833.
Wait lang nga lang. Okay. So, natay ko ang libro, mali iyahang solution. So, pila to gang? Ang annuity, katong ano
870.
lang, kanila atong gamiton, 0.10/12.
870, ma'am.
870. So, i-copy man gud nako ang answer sa libro, pero naay typo siyang solution. Ang gibuhat niya, ibali ang I is, ano, 0. Ang gihimo niya sa denominator kay 0.00833. Mao yung gi-raise og n-1. Tapos 1 plus I. So mali 'di ba kasi ang i-raise man og n-1 kay 1 plus I. Okay, so my apology, gikapi lang gid ako sa libro, wala na ako gi-verify. So ang answer should be is 870. Kay na-typo siya. Okay, so let's proceed now to our next example. Under a factory savings plan, a workman deposits 25 pesos at the beginning of each month for 4 years, and the management guarantees accumulation of at 6% compounded monthly. So how much stands to the workman's credit at the end of 4 years? So let's write the given first. So, nag-deposit daw siya 25 pesos at the beginning of each month. So, this is annuity na annuity due kay beginning of each month man. And then the time is 4 years. So, and the management guarantees accumulation. So, nag-accumulate na combine tanan ang 25 pesos at 6% compounded monthly. So, the rate is 6%, the compounding period is monthly. So, how much stands to the workman's credit? So, it means to say, pila na ang na-combine, tanan-tanan, kasi at sinabi at the end of 4 years. So, if nag-annuity siya, pila daw tanan-tanan pag-abot diri sa future. Okay, so n here is 0 and n here is n-1. Okay, so f, paon niya ang future worth. So remember that future worth is p times 1 plus I raised to n. Diba? Kung diretsoon na natong formula, ang formula for future kay a times 1 plus I raised to n plus 1 minus 1 over I minus a. Diba? Mo ni siya. So, we can actually solve this one using the formula. Okay, so let's substitute. When n is 12 times 4, so that's 48. And I is R over M, so that is 6% divided by 12. So that would be 0.005. Okay, so we can actually substitute it now. So how much is it? Using the formula.
1359, ma'am, point 20.
Okay, so dali lang mo mag-substitute, no? Using the formula.
Ma'am.
1359.21. Alright. Now, how about if dili lang po memorize ng formula and then I-substitute na lang nato ang P. So, pwede naman, di ba? So, P is equal to summation of annuity. Ang annuity is 25 over 1 plus I. I is 0.005. Erase na to na og x minus 1, right? Over x equal to 1, and then n is 48. So, let's see kung mo-solve ang calculator. So, the present worth is 1069. 1069.83. So, substituting f is equal to p times 1 plus I raised to n. So, f is 1069 times 1 plus 0.005 raised to n na 48. So, how much is f? So, the answer is still 1359.21. Nagets, guys? Nagets ninyo? Okay, yes. So, wala man answer. Okay, next. A man owes 12,000 today and agrees to discharge a debt by equal payments at the beginning of each month for 8 years, where these payments include all interest at 8% payable quarterly. Okay, so find the quarterly payment. So let's write the given para masabtan jud nato unsa ang iyahang mga given. So a man owes 12,000 today. So today man na nagini today, so that's the present or principal amount. So agrees to pay the wait lang. Agrees to discharge a debt. So yadong bayaran ang utang by equal payments. Yan lang daw ang installment at the beginning of each month, at the beginning, so annuity due of each month. So, each month man, bayad siya each month for 8 years, okay? Where these payments include all interest, 8% payable quarterly. Okay, so therefore, ang M nato diri is quarterly, and then ang rate nato is 8%. So, how much is or find the quarterly payment? So, kailangan naman siya, what is the quarterly payment? So, therefore, ang atoang compounding period is 4. So, the time here is 8. So, therefore, dali lang ni siya. Substitute lang. Annuity plus annuity 1 plus I raised to n minus 1 over I times 1 plus I raised to n minus 1. So N here is 4 times 8, 32. M here is 8% divided by 4. 0.02. So, sige daw, i-try og substitute. When P is 12,000. So, A now becomes I na din siya.
501.30 man.
501.30. Okay, so let's try daw using the Caltech. So we have already the annuity. We have already the present worth. Now we have to find for annuity. So dili na siya mo shift solve ang kuan summation. So ato ang buhaton, di ba, P is equal to summation of annuity over 1 plus I raised to x minus 1. Then x equal to 1 and n here. So, ang buhaton nato to solve for A, so ang P is 12,000. Divide nato na sa kaninga expression. Summation of, ang annuity, iset nato na as 1. Okay? And then 1 plus I, the I here is 0.02 raised to x minus 1. And then x equal to 1 when n is 32. Okay, try. Oops. Solve for A. So, kita na nato sa calculate yun sa ni. So, i-solve sa nato ng summation. So, 1 over 1 plus 0.02 raised to x minus 1. Oops. Then when x is 1, then n is 32. So, ano siya niya? Store lang sa nakong answer. So, 12,000 divided by this one. So, 501.30. Okay, so same answer lang ha. Alright, now let's go to the next example. Engineer Peter Aventajado loaned an amount of 100,000 at a local commerce his monthly payment if he is required to pay at the beginning of the first day of the month for a period of 30 years. Okay, so let's solve. Write the given first. So we have Engineer Peter Aventajado loaned an amount of 100,000. So that is the principal amount at a local commercial bank at 10%. So how much is his monthly payment? So 12. If he is required to pay at the beginning of the first day, so this is annuity due for a period of 30 years. So pila daw yung bayaran monthly, so we are asking for annuity. Okay, so malagi hapon. Substitute lang gihapon sa formula. A plus A times 1 plus I raised to n minus 1 over I times 1 plus I raised to n minus 1. So, n here is 30 or 12 times 30. So, dako-dako na ni siya, no? Dili na na makaltek. And then, ang I is R over M. So, 0.12 over 30 at 0.10 over 12. Okay, so substitute when P is 100,000. Solve for A.
Tama, ma'am.
Okay, so this is 0.10. Tama? Pila answer gang?
839.90.
Okay, so 839.90. Okay, so pwede ba ni mga Caltech, ma'am? So I doubt na mo answer si calculator. Dako na magod kayo ang N.